I figured I might as well begin this commentary by explaining what exactly inspired it. You see, I was scrolling through Twitter the day before I recorded this when it was brought to my attention that Bill Maher, the Bill Maher, said this.
But Israel is the Jews' homeland, and Jews have always lived there. I cap you not. You can look it up. It's in this book called The Bible, which is horribly wrong about sex ed, slavery, science, and cooking, but the archaeology checks out.
The tweet I saw talking about this simply read, "The otherwise proud atheist Bill Maher cites the Bible in order to establish that Israel is the Jews' homeland, and so they cannot be colonizers there. Only some religious texts count as history in certain contexts for certain ends." He even specifically notes various things he believes the Bible to be wrong on, and then says, but don't worry, it's trustworthy in this one instance. When I actually sat down to watch the segment, by the way, I was especially taken aback by a completely different part. You see, Bill is responding to Chappell Roan, a singer who said, well, come to think of it, I don't actually know. Don't get me wrong, I know she's made statements on Israel before, and those have ignited some controversy. However, I don't know what Bill is responding to because he forgets to tell us. He starts the piece by praising her and then says this.
But then we get to Israel. And Chappell, this is where we must put to the test your pledge to use critical thinking and to question whether what you're reading on social media is true, because it isn't. There's a whole history of the Middle East that you and your fans aren't hearing about.
And that's it. What statements has she made that you believe reveal her ignorance? The section I played a clip from earlier began with him discussing the idea that people are calling Israelis colonizers.
My guess is that Gen Z hearts are hardened by the propaganda you see on TikTok, which likes to call the Jews colonizers.
But is that something she said? And if so, do you have any evidence of this? Or is this just something some unnamed person on TikTok said? And if so, again, do you have any evidence of this? I'm not even saying you're wrong, I would just like an example. Later on, he starts talking about how hard LGBT people have it in Gaza.
Chappell, if you think it was repressive growing up queer in the Midwest, try the Mideast. You're a female drag queen, and you sing, I fucked you in the bathroom when we went to dinner, your parents at the table. Yeah, that wouldn't fly in Gaza, although you would straight off a roof. The same goes for knee-deep on the passenger seat and you're eating me out. Yeah, my guess is the morality police would figure out that one's not about the drive-thru. And kill your feather boa-wearing ass.
But did she say something to the contrary? I'm really confused right now. And then he derogatorily calls Hamas her heroes?
Meryl Streep spoke at the UN recently and said this about the Taliban, who are only slightly more conservative than your heroes in Hamas.
But is that something she said? Do you have any evidence of that? Even if you are just hyperbolizing something she said, can you please quote to me what was actually said by her so I can find out where the exaggeration lies? It's amazing how Bill can go on for so long about something he can't even prove was actually said in the first place. It's genuinely bizarre.
And I didn't learn about the Middle East from TikTok, which is a Chinese company whose totalitarian government would just love to have America's youth hating America. That's some of that algorithm stuff you say you want to look into.
Okay, I know I've been harping on this a lot, but did she say she did? Is that something she mentioned at one point? Do you have any evidence of that? What the fuck are you even going on about?
But getting all your history from TikTok is like getting all your calories from Hostess.
Yeah, that would be a really bad idea. I do agree with you there, Bill. Now, can you please prove the person you're talking about does this already? And I just want to be clear, the reason this bothers me so much is because Bill is talking to one specific person with this segment. This video is called Dear Chappell Roan. It is directed at her, and again, Bill doesn't quote anything she said that would back up the claims he's making about her. It genuinely feels like this video could have just been "Dear anti-Zionist members of Gen Z," and there would have been no difference, at which point, why did you even bother calling somebody out by name in the first place?
Chappell, did you know that for 2,000 years, Palestine was like an Uber driver with a 3-star rating? Nobody wanted it. And there was never any Arab country called Palestine.
Well, Bill, did you know that doesn't really mean anything? Because yes, there may not have specifically been an Arab country called Palestine. However, the nation was ruled predominantly by Muslims for quite a long period of time. The area spent 4 centuries under the control of the Muslim Ottoman Empire, for example. Also, if nobody wanted Palestine, why did the British attempt to crush the Arab Revolt in the late 1930s? Given they wouldn't have wanted the land anyway, why would they care if they lose it? Furthermore, why would the Arab Revolt have even happened? What would that conflict have even been over? Who would control land neither party wanted? This doesn't make any sense. Anyway, my final thoughts are essentially, if Bill Maher is not even going to bother to quote the person he is arguing against, then why is he even arguing against her? Good night, and good luck.